News Tonight. Government handed first of 9 modern jetties being constructed in Salaam. Decision vote to reduce number of MPs and governors tabled. Sports teachers hope to get good volleyball players for this season's primary school competitions. Good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Vanessa Victor. Let's get started with the national news. The government has announced that it will remove all impediments and taxes at the port of Dar es Salaam that were unproductive and increased inconveniences to its users so as to increase efficiency at the port. This was said by the Minister of Works, Transport and Communications, Isaac Kwamwelwe, when being handed jetty number 1 in Dar es Salaam.
Na mimi kazi yangu ndugu zangu ni kuhakikisha naondoa vikwazo vyote.
My fellow Tanzanians, I assure you that I will reduce all restrictions and taxes which are not relevant at the port of Dar es Salaam. That is why I have omitted delivery order fee. People used to pay between $70 to $150 per container, a collection that is not identified by the government. Stripping fee is also omitted from today onwards, as well as escort fee. I have just begun cutting down these taxes. These all are efforts to ensure that Dar es Salaam port becomes a favorite port to all importers and exporters. My call is for all of us to do our work diligently. Tanzanians no longer want cheap business. They all mean real business. Even our neighbors expect an excellent job. We have enough budget to buy all necessary equipments needed at the port. Until September, we're expecting to begin purchasing documentations because most of the equipment takes up to 18 months before pressing an order to its delivery. Consultants have been engaged in making these decisions so as to ensure that all equipment purchased must be equivalent to our demands and of high quality.
Today it's around 2 years past, and we have already completed around 57% of this project. You know, as for the first year is generally using for the mobilization and the design, and so the actually construction time is about 1 year. So we completed the 57.
And the Minister of Lands, Housing and Human Settlement Development, William Lukuvi, has erected 207 institutions and organizations that owe over 200 billion shilling in taxes and overdue rent before June of the 20th of this year to pay it, or else legal actions will be taken, including capture and nationalization of their property.
Kila mmoja lazima awe amelipa kabla tarehe 20 mwezi wa 6.
Everybody must pay before 20th June 2019. Otherwise, drastic measures will be used. I have directed my officers not to fear anyone, from government companies, prominent people to poor people. Offices will be closed and sold by us. Not only that, we shall be mandated to take even cars belonging to managing directors and even take away your houses so that you pay our tax. Payment processes are quite long, and we are all aware of that. In that case, I would like to request for an extension period until 30th of June 2019.
Some members of parliament have asked the government to come up with a system of increasing the number of stakeholders so as to increase the number of taxpayers and stop focusing on a few taxpayers, causing the tax system in the country to be seen as unfriendly to entrepreneurs. Speaking on the 2019-2020 budget expected to be delivered on June the 13th, the MPs claimed that Tanzania has over 50 million people, and out of them 2.7 million pay taxes, and the major taxpayers do not exceed 1 million.
Chache. Kwa hiyo hao wachache wanakamuliwa, ndio mwisho wa siku unakuta kwamba kodi mifumo ya ukusanyaji kodi inakuwa sio rafiki. Lakini tutakapoongeza wigo wa walipa kodi, tukawa na walipa kodi wengi, maana yake kodi itakuwa inalipwa kwa urahisi zaidi. Kwamba kama kwenye biashara fulani ina tozo zinazozidi labda 10-12, kuwe na sehemu moja ya kuzilipa zote kwa wakati mmoja, alafu ubaki tu utengenezaji wa mambo mengine.
Sisi tunataka hizo fedha ambazo zinakusanywa zionekane kwa wananchi moja kwa moja.
And the Commissioner General of Immigration in Tanzania, Dr. Anna Peter Makakala, has elected, appointed and recently promoted commissioners by President Magufuli to ensure that they take into consideration work ethics so as to help the division implement their authorities as they should.
Through diligence, policies and adherence to our laws, we are expecting to increase manpower and speed in fulfilling immigration duties. Immigration officers are bodies responsible in maintaining safety and security for Tanzanian citizens and foreigners. In that regard, we are also directly involved in combating corruption and illegal immigrants. We are all aware that ethics are essential in human beings' daily life. It will be well depicted from public servants. They will always abide to rules and regulations set in providing public services. We are promising to use our positions in bringing positive impacts to our country and shall not go against ethics of our profession, just as how we swore today.
The Minister of Energy, Dr. Mened Galimani, has directed the contractor dealing with the Rural Energy Agency REA project in Shinyanga district, as well as his 2 assistants, be caught and detained as punishment for breaking the rules of their contracts, as well as to have their travel documents taken and only returned when they complete the project as agreed upon.
They should be under arrest until they complete all Shinyanga villages. They did not operate for 1 month. After signing an agreement, they went back to India. These contractors are very slow in doing this job. It makes me wonder what retards their efforts in completing this project on time. While in the meantime, people are waiting for electricity so that several economic activities can be established and create more jobs, as well as generate income from individual to government levels. Earlier, there were regular power cuts, but now things have improved. Although we still expect that the government will help us in ending this problem completely, I will not stop commending power stability throughout the whole region.
And Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa has welcomed investors from Rwanda to come and invest in various sectors, stating that the government will give them their full cooperation. The Prime Minister said this in Dodoma when speaking to the Speaker of the Parliament of Rwanda, Donatil Mukabalisa, at his office in Parliament.
Rwanda na Tanzania.
Despite the neighborhood, Rwanda and Tanzania have good friendship. Our leaders from both countries have managed to visit both countries. The same to me. I have visited Rwanda already. We have witnessed Rwanda's excellent performances. Our country is determined to improve its economy through investments. We are aware that there are Tanzanians who have invested in Rwanda, and we are calling on investors from Rwanda to come and invest in Tanzania because we have so many investment opportunities from agriculture, mining, tourism, and industries. We have begun a building standard gauge railway from Dar es Salaam to Isaka, and from there we shall proceed to Rwanda. Our aim is to connect all traders from both countries. Mwish.
The United Nations High Commission for Refugees, UNHCR, has begun strategies to find alternative energy for refugees at Nyarugusu camp in Kigoma region that is servicing over 100,000 refugees. This is to stop the significant destruction of environment caused by tree cutting.
Changamoto mojawapo ni ile uhusiano kati ya wakimbizi na
One among the challenges faced here is relationship between refugees and indigenous people, along with security matters. because as people run away from their homes, several criminal offenses are done to the poor refugees, including rape, harassment, among others. What needs to be done is to find sustainable solutions to these issues so as to help refugees.
We have a project called the Respond Project. We're partnering with UNHCR. The project's funded by GIZ and the German cooperation. There's 3 sectors in our project. We work in clean cooking, solar power, and forestry. The purpose of the project is to accelerate the use of sustainable energy within the refugee camps in Kigoma and also within the host communities surrounding the refugee camps.
Despite the fact that Tanzania cooperates with sub-Saharan countries in activities to curb transnational crime, this collaborative effort faces various challenges. This was revealed in Dar es Salaam when the Minister for Constitutional and Legal Affairs, Dr. Augustine Mahiga, as well as the Director of Public Prosecutions, Biswalo Mganga, were speaking at a press conference about Tanzania being the host of a meeting of crime-fighting institutions which fight against transnational crime.
Kati ya nchi na nchi ya kubadilishana wahalifu.
There is cooperation between 2 countries on exchanging criminals, which is known as bilateral extradition. There is also another system of Interpol protocol, which allows unity of security organs dealing with protecting citizens and properties. What this organs does is collect information of criminals all over the world. When a criminal conducts a crime in Tanzania and hides assets outside the country, for example South Africa, the system will allow us to cooperate with our fellow officers in South Africa to search the properties, and legal measures will be taken in confiscating the assets. This all means that the world has no longer become a comfortable place for criminals to hide. However, the main challenge is criminals who commit crimes and believe that they can continue doing their criminal activities anywhere in the world. It is a great initiative. I'm sure criminals will now be dealt with accordingly, because there are those who embezzle public funds and hide them outside the country without forgetting drug dealers.
That's all for national news. International news is next. And in international news, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, the IEBC in Kenya, has said that the exercise to verify signatures delivered to the commission by former 2017 presidential candidate Dr. Ekuru Aukot, who is suggesting preparation of a decision vote in order to reduce the number of MPs and governors in Kenya, is underway.
We're going through the names suggested by Punguza Mizigo Initiative, which intends to carry out a referendum to change the constitution. We've received more than 1 million names. We'll go through them to establish if they have been registered on the voters' registration.
Business has resumed at the Gatuna border joining Uganda and Rwanda 1 day after Rwanda's Custom Collection Council opened it until the 22nd of this month.
If Rwanda reopens the border, then it is the responsibility of those who closed it to open it.
But the fact that they are traders who...
The truth of the matter is life has been put back into this place. The fact that traffic is moving doesn't indicate that the border has been reopened. We urge Rwanda to allow our people entry like it used to be.
The national grade 9 primary school examinations have officially begun in Burundi, with students participating in the exams expressing hope of doing well and thus asking that they be given opportunities to continue with their studies afterwards.
I'm confident that I will get at least 90% because the exam was easy, and I commend them for giving us an easy exam. The exam was easy. We were tested on science and entrepreneurship, which was great. 227 candidates were expected, but only 221 wrote the exam in our center. I think those who missed out quit school. The exam went smoothly. It shows that students were well prepared.
And that is all for international news. We'll be back with business news, however, after this break.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
To be rich, I have to be a business person.
It's not an easy road at all.
People need to understand. You must quickly think, how cost effective are you going to be?
Business acts as a way in which it can bridge that gap.
Business Edition will keep you informed on latest developments in the financial sector, extractive industry, tourism, agriculture, energy, construction, and so much more. Meet entrepreneurs who create employment opportunities. Watch Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Welcome back, and in business news. The Fair Competition Commission, the FCC, along with owners of business logos and business representatives unions, have burnt fake goods with 650 million shillings as part of implementation of the law on fake logos.
Tume ya ushindani inalitambua hilo.
The Fair Competition Commission recognizes that fact and is working closely with the owners of the merchandise and the brand to address this because it hinders creativity.
Innovation au tunasema inapunguza ubunifu.
The director of mobile company Vodacom has said that in the period ending March 31st of 2019, they have increased income services by 5.4% due to the growth of M-Pesa, data services and SMS, which is due to various innovations that have contributed to improvement and growth of these financial services.
From opened up opportunities for 620,000 new customers, recording a healthy growth of 9.7 million customers using this service. On M-Pesa, we grew our revenue 14.5%, which is around 333 billion shillings. 333 billion shillings. Our leadership in mobile money grew to 38.6%, reaching 7 million M-Pesa users transacting over 4.1 trillion shillings monthly.
The government of Tanzania and South Sudan have held talks for business cooperation in the transport sector through the port, which will help in development of relations and the economies of the two nations.
Mipango yetu ya kufanya biashara na Sudani ya Kusini na kutumia.
With intention of working with South Sudan and using our port. We've heard from Honorable Minister that renovation was done on the Port Bell, Uganda to Kampala Railway when Sudan was trading. If this was our intention, then the railway would not have been renovated. We've had, and our duty is to reconcile them. We must open numerous outlets so that they may not struggle, as it is a landlocked country. Talks have been held today, which is significant. As you know, we've modernized our airline cooperation.
In the sense, we have all the potential, the agricultural land, we have the oil, and all these other minerals. But you know, once you have not brought them to surface and have not utilized them for the overall good of the people.
That's all for business news. Sports is next.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment of going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's being dragged through the second place, but he's going to win it by 2 metres. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment of going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's being dragged through the second place, but he's going to win it by 2 metres. Opposition, Joaquinho, he did lose to Lent.
And in sports. Sports teachers in Kigamboni and Ubungo districts are hoping to get good volleyball players who will represent them well in the primary schools competition Umita Shumta this season.
This year we'll get many good volleyball players in Kigamboni and Ubungo who will represent the region. In volleyball, body structure doesn't matter. You can have a short or tall player, and the important thing is to be able to play the game. It's not like in football, a tall player is required, but in volleyball, height doesn't matter. We never supported having Simba's properties. We didn't join hands in opposing more, and I want Simba.
Sorry for that technical difficulty. That story, you just saw the insert. The Simba Elders coordinator Felix Makua was urging the club sponsors committee chair Hamis Kilomoni to return the club certificate to the administration because the certificate belongs at the club.
World to understand this. We, the elders and my group, were opposing the process of getting an investor because the law is that the stakeholder has to go through the legal government route. Because there are laws. We were against the first format where the investor would have more shares than the owners. Now, we're doing well. We have 51% and he has 49%.
The Golden State forward player Kevin Durant has an injured right Achilles, a massive blow for the perennial All-Star and two-time NBA Finals MVP, who may be 3 weeks away from free agency and could also be facing a long rehabilitation process. Here is more on this.
Warriors general manager Bob Myers was emotional when he gave the news after Game 5 of the NBA Finals on Monday night. An MRI was performed today to determine the severity of the injury, but Durant's season is clearly over and his recovery will likely take several months if the Achilles is indeed torn. Myers said Durant's first injury of this postseason was a calf injury, as the Warriors have insisted throughout. Myers also said that he is willing to accept the blame for the decision to play Durant in Game 5. Golden State won 106-105, cutting Toronto's lead in the NBA Finals to 3-2.
In a performance typical of Canada of late, dull but efficient, another of Lyon's treble winners, the centre-back Kadesha Buchanan, proved the differences as they made it 9 in clean sheets in 2019 against slightly chaotic but exhilarating Cameroon.
One will be forgiven for handing home advantage to the French national team at the World Cup in France, but in a cool Stade de la Mosson in Montpellier, with the sun setting, Cameroon were urged on with more gusto than that on show in the Parc des Princes last Friday, with significantly fewer numbers. PSG Stadium rocked out as the Cameroonian national anthem began to play. The allegiance of the crowd was clear. It moved, danced, jammed, sang, clapped and swayed in unison for the indomitable Lionesses. This was a migrant community welcoming their team, which includes 9 players who play their club football in France, sort of home. It is a rare Cameroon venture beyond their borders, and like the 2 other teams from Africa competing at this World Cup, the preparations against international teams has been limited to a 1-0 loss to China in April and a 4-0 defeat to Spain in May.
And as Tyson Fury faces new levels of expectation, he has resumed a role he knows well, that of a provocateur, before his Las Vegas bout on Saturday. Here are more details.
Fury faces the German Tom Schwartz at the MGM Grand, and the fight against the undefeated 24-year-old is being treated by the promoter Bob Arum as a chance to introduce Fury to the broader American public. He's a strong favorite, but cannot risk the same experience as his rival Anthony Joshua, whose shock defeat by Andy Ruiz Jr. sent shockwaves through boxing. Arum, whose half-century of experience has seen him work with the greats of the sports, from Ali to Hagler and Pacquiao, has bet on Fury as the man to bring a big audience to the new American steaming players. In the UK, the fight will be shown on BT Sport.
And that sports item ends our news bulletin. On behalf of everyone who worked to prepare this bulletin for you, my name is Vanessa Victor. Thank you for watching and have a good night.